What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another Should You Pull video where I give you my opinions for upcoming banners coming to the global version of the game. In today's video we are going to take a look at Gao's Lost Chapter banner, which also features Kuja's burst weapon here as well, and Gao will receive his LD weapon. The other characters here are Terra and Selphie, which you can grab their EX weapon. Now before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help this channel guys, and I really do appreciate it. And with that out of the way, let's start this video. Alright guys, so we'll start this video off with Gao's LD straight away, because there's really no rework done on across all the characters that are featured on this Lost Chapter event. So Gao's LD will give him the LD ability called Landslide, which basically will do an 8-hit AoE Earth Magic Brave plus AoE HP attack, and this will have increased damage when attacking a single target. It will have a 150% max Brave overflow limit and will deal full HP damage, which is actually pretty nice. This will also inflict an Earth Imperil down debuff for 4 turns and will grant him 3 turns of Awakened Instincts. Now Awakened Instincts basically will raise the party's attack and will grant everyone an Earth Enchant, and will also lower the enemy's max Brave. This also will allow Gao to actually use both his abilities once you use this. So as you know, Gao tends to lock himself for a couple of turns depending on what ability you use. So with this LD ability, you are going to be opening up Gao to either use his ability 1 or ability 2. Now if you don't decide to use his ability 1 or 2 straight away, all the counters he will do will be called counter Landslide. Now this is going to be a 2-hit AoE Earth Magic Brave attack plus AoE HP attack, and then will be followed up by another 2-hit AoE Earth Magic Brave attack. Now once again, this does increase the damage he deals when he is attacking a single target, and will grant the party a Brave based on his Brave damage dealt, and will restore up to 20% of the HP for the entire party. So think of it as like a combination of both his ability 1 and ability 2 counter. So it is quite recommended to actually stick with this for a little while before you go back to your ability 1 and ability 2, and then you lock yourself out for that one. Now at 1 out of 3 limit break, you are going to raise his attack and max Brave by 10% and increasing the Brave damage dealt by Landslide. He also gets a first turn does not consume ability count as well, which is pretty nice. And while he has Awakened Instincts, he will have the Landslide Brave Attack Plus and HP Attack Plus variant. So the Brave Attack Plus is going to do a 5-hit AoE Earth Magic Brave attack and will grant the party Brave based on his Brave damage dealt. Again, this increases the damage dealt to a single target. As for the HP attack plus Landslide variant, this will be a 3-hit AoE Earth Magic Brave plus single target HP attack, again increasing the Brave damage dealt to a single target, and you do get a 120% max Brave overflow as well on this one, as well as a 20% splash damage to non-targets. And this actually also grants the party Brave based on the Brave damage dealt once again. Now at 2 out of 3, this will raise his attack and max Brave again by 10%, and it will increase the duration for Awakened Instincts by 3 turns. And at 3 out of 3, this again will increase his attack and max Brave by 10% and giving him 1 extra usage for Landslide. Alright guys, so after taking a look at Gao's LD, let's take a look at what he brings to the table overall. So in summary, he didn't get a rework, right? But his LD kind of fixed some of his issues, which was the lock stance, which I personally didn't like. I thought he would be a little bit more free-flowing. Okay, I can change to this stance now and then change to this stance now, depending on the situation, but he tends to lock himself out for a few turns on that particular stance. With his LD, you'll be able to be a little bit more free-flowing in a sense. However, it kind of forces you to stick with his LD stance anyway, because it is the better version of the two, because it is a mix of the two, if you get what I mean. So it kind of makes his ability 1, ability 2 kind of useless in a way. You always want to be on his LD stance, and ability 1 and his ability 1 and ability 2 tend to be just like a filler, so you can stretch things out. And again, both of those are very widely different, where, like, you know, his ability 1 tends to be a single target counter, ability 2 is an AoE counter. So I just don't know. I felt like it fixed a few things, but overall it just made other things useless, if you get what I mean. I'm not really into it. Now, the great thing about this LD as well, do have to mention, is he is going to be the first Earth Enchanter, and will be very helpful in the Lufenia stage. But honestly speaking, I'm just not a big fan of this stance and getting locked as well. I like a much more free-flowing kind of abilities. So it might just be me. I know some people might like to play around with the stance, and if you play around with that stance and you do it perfectly and time it just right, it feels good. But for me, I just like to, you know, be able to be a little bit more free-flowing, but that's just me. And I do have to mention one last thing, because some people might be wondering about the Lufenia stage, which people are recommending bringing an Earth Brave damage dealer. And yes, it does really help to have an Earth-based magic dealer, and Gao sort of fills in that role. Basically, you won't have to worry about it because he can enchant everyone. You know, he's got the Imperil, and everyone will be doing Earth damage. But the counter also increases whenever you do a counter attack. So it's not just Earth Brave damage. So it's not like Square Enix is locking you in and making you pull for this character in order to beat this Lufenia stage. So there are other options out there. Alright guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and the final question remains, should you pull? Honestly speaking, this is going to be a no for me. However, for people who are looking for an enchanter, I guess if you have the spare resources, you can go ahead and pull for this banner, or pull for Gao's LD. But honestly speaking, there's just a lot of better characters later on that will be much more helpful later down the track. So one of these characters is actually the next character event, which is Gladio. So he is going to be very, very useful, more useful than Gao, to be completely honest, in terms of clearing harder content. So I suggest, if you're gonna pull on this, maybe spare some tickets. If you have some spare tickets, go ahead and use them, but try to save up your gems. Like I said, there is a way for you to clear the Lufenia stage without using an Earth Brave damage dealing character. So just on top of my head, honestly, the other Earth damage dealing character that I can only think of is actually Stola. And I can't really think of anyone else apart from that. Maybe you guys can leave down in the comments below if you can think of any other characters that do Earth Brave damage. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below. But so far in my head, it's only Stola. But in any case, like I said, you don't have to worry about it. You can use counter to increase the Lufenia counter orb. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help this channel. We are trying to get to that 3,000 subscriber by the end of the year, so we'd really appreciate it if you guys help me get to that. Also, make sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. And yeah, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.